Actually say it's, how do you actually find your niche in the industry?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of two things. Of course, we've gone to school and we've grown up in environments, both family and society, which shape our values to the extent that you think, yes, what is great out there, what everybody talks about there is what you should be or try to be part of. But there's also the reality of self-awareness to the extent of discovering your passions and being ready to pursue them to the extent of even disrupting yourself. I've done that several times. I've moved across sectors and people have asked, why did you do that? And I say, because there is something new which I will learn in that other space. And as I learn that something new, I become somebody better and different. And so I think my advice to leaders who want to self-disrupt, continue to be relevant, especially in these VUCA days, is to actually say, what is my true north in terms of those personal values which drive me? Where is my passion? And if I were to disrupt myself, which could be those 2 or 3 pivots I need to make in my career life to actually continue to be relevant and be different? You don't have to be a me too. That's what I think.
And just now shifting gears now, David, it's the concern about how do you actually manage a global workforce? And I think from your experience with all these multinationals, with talent sitting somewhere in South Africa, in Ghana, in the UK, and you sitting there as a people manager, how do you actually handle it?
Well, I think that's part of the fun of playing a global role. First of all, you actually become a convener of multiple cultures all coming together to really deliver value for an organization. Let me put it this way. Laban, I've realized for the last couple of decades that actually there's nothing as beautiful as being able to leverage the collective genius that comes from across the globe. Granted, at times we've been limited by the boundaries, we can't move talent around. But if you have a globally connected workforce, like I've managed over the last decade plus, there is something about figuring out what glues up all these different perspectives, different backgrounds, experiences, but most importantly, even the nuances that relate to different markets. Because there will always be some pockets of excellence in each of these locations. But imagine getting all those global brains to connect to one common agenda, a common purpose. And everybody feels every day when they wake up, they add value to that big picture. And they can actually later on demonstrate to whichever stakeholder they have to talk to how they fit into the big picture. That has always been brilliant. And so from where I sit as a global leader is always figuring out, one, what is that unifying factor in terms of the team's aspirations, and how do that connect to the common purpose? And then position it in such a way that everybody feels they have a role to play. And amazing how actually increasingly, especially Generation Y and Z, are feeling more gratified by being part of a global community. They are global citizens. That's what is in their minds. And they are excited about opportunities like working for a global company.
And then, of course, comes in the issue about these generations in the organizations. I mean, Harvard has had a whole report about, managing Gen Zs and Ys, Gen Zs. It's quite critical for managers to understand this. From your view, in terms of this generational management, issues to do with culture, they also quite play a key role, right?
Yeah, so I think we are now wiser than we were before on those new generations. I call them new, but they're no longer new, to be honest. They're part of us. I think it's common now to have a workforce where you have 4 generations, great-grandpa, grandpa, dad, and son. It is very normal now in most of the organizations we're working in. But here's the thing. I think first we appreciate what their desire, what their aspirations are. And we need to therefore redesign and rethink the workplace to be able to accommodate as many, if not all, the generations. And it's true. We have clarity of what drives each of these generations. But there's also the reality of there is a point of connection, for all of them. And so organizations or high-performance organizations have figured out that the recipe for success in terms of workforce and workplace of the future is really to say, what is the connecting point within the purpose of the organization. And you'll be amazed that Generation Y and Generation Z are really passionate about making a difference in the world, to the extent that they're ready to even to trade off things like salary, which we used to value a lot in our own generations. And they're actually saying, how do I make a difference? In fact, when you're interviewing them and you give them a chance to interview you back, they ask you, so do I have an opportunity to make a difference out there? I remember one employee, a very young one, I had just recruited in South Africa, who came to negotiate his contract and asked me, do I have an opportunity to negotiate my hours of work? I said, of course we can talk about that, unusual, but we can. But it boiled down to, he wanted to be given sabbatical leave every year to go and contribute to communities, cleaning the communities. And that is, so we are therefore talking about reinventing and redefining the employee value proposition to make sure that it connects with the body, mind, and souls of everybody in the workplace, irrespective of the gender.